Right. We're kicking off our new series, Inside Out, tonight. And the whole idea of this is just understanding what it means to be somebody who lives from the inside out. We've all heard that kind of used inside out before. Like, she was beautiful on the inside and out. Like, I say that about my wife. She's beautiful the inside and out. She says hi, by the way. We hear police, like maybe in the first 48, we're going to take this case from the inside out. We're going to figure it out. Or maybe you've come into school and somebody has said, hey, your shirt's inside out. Doesn't really apply too much to what we're talking about here, but we understand this idea of people being real, people being who they really are. On a day like today, it kind of reminds me of the Plastics, right? Because on today, he asked me what day it was. And it was October 3rd, right? On Wednesdays, we wear pink. But it's that whole, there's that group of girls in there, they call them the Plastics, and they're fake, and nobody likes them, and but everybody wants to be them. And you know those people in your life who are fake. You don't like being around them. They're really positive maybe when you're hanging out with them. Oh, you look so great. Your hair is, oh, how do you do that? You were the best. And then they go to another group. And they're like, can you believe her hair? She is not the best. She is the worst. And it just depends on who they're with that they are a different person. They're fake. And we don't like that. It's that struggle. There's that sense of like, I don't want to be a fake person. And maybe for some of you, that's a struggle. Like, you don't want to be fake. But when you're hanging out with a certain friend group, it's hard not to laugh or to joke or to beat people down when you really don't want to. And so how do we develop that idea of living from the inside out? And as Christians, how do we become people who live from the inside out, live fully for Jesus? Because nothing turns people away from Jesus more than a hypocrite, right? Than somebody who says they're a Christian and isn't. Maybe you know somebody like that, like they're at your school, and if you're a Christian, you just are like, please don't lump me in with Jacob. And please don't associate me with Sarah like I am a normal human, and they are, I don't know, like alien chickens, something. They're not right. And not all Christians are like that. Like, we're not all weird. And you're desperately like, listen, if you come to my church, like, we're a normal church. Like, you don't have to wear robes. We're not lighting candles. There's no animal sacrifices here. And you can come in jeans. It is amazing. And then you're there and you're in science class and you're like, please don't, no, please shut up, Jacob, you are an idiot. I just want people to know Jesus. Or maybe you're that person in science class and you're looking at that guy and you're like, why would I ever want to follow that Jesus? And you start doing a little searching, you start figuring out, it's like, hold on. Jesus was this guy walking around, tons of people, thousands and thousands of people followed him, and people died for him, and his cause is still alive over 2,000 years later. What is so captivating about this guy? Because when I see one of his followers, yikes. And so maybe you're here trying to figure it out. And today we want to talk about this idea of what makes a Christian contagious, or what makes Christianity contagious. What makes people want to follow it? What about Christianity is contagious? Because it was never supposed to be something that made people go, yee. It was never supposed to be something that you had to apologize for. It was never supposed to be something where you said, don't associate me with them. Jesus had a plan. Jesus had a purpose. And Jesus sent his followers out into the world with a mission. So we're going to spend the next 4 weeks diving in to this idea. But it was never supposed to be this way when it comes to our faith and the reputation of Christians. It was never supposed to be this way. Jesus says it this way in Matthew. He says, Jesus came and told his disciples, I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. So this is post-resurrection. So let's break this down. Jesus had dinner with his disciples, went into the garden to pray, got arrested, was sentenced, murdered on a cross, buried for 3 days, rose again, and Matthew wrote it down and said, Jesus, when we all gathered, right before he left, he spent 40 days walking and talking with us, hanging out, resurrected Jesus. He says this, I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Now, you think about that. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of influence. He brings a lot to the table. I've been given all authority. Therefore. Now, when you're reading the Bible and you're trying to figure it out, anytime you see a therefore, you need to ask the question, what is it there for? You get it? Because that's the word. So you got to ask, what is it there for? What is he talking about? Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching these disciples to obey all the commands I give of you. Jesus, right before he goes back to heaven to sit at the right hand of the Father until he comes back. His last words to his disciples, to the people following him, ultimately to us, is this: go and make disciples of all nations. Go out into the world and make disciples of all nations. Help people connect to Jesus. Help people connect to Jesus. Now, if you're a Christian, if you're somebody who's been trying to follow Jesus, you may have noticed that just telling somebody to follow Jesus doesn't make them follow Jesus. You could say it really strong. Be like, I declare you a Jesus follower. Nothing happens. You can give them money, that nothing happens, right? Make a secret handshake, still nothing. In fact, the only thing we can do is invite somebody to something we're personally experiencing, something that's affecting your own life. The only thing we can do is invite people into what we're experiencing, what we're excited about, what fills us up, what gets us moving and going. We can't tell people what to do, but we can invite them into something we're personally experiencing. We can't command people where to go, but we can show them what's affecting our life. Jesus is saying, when you go and make disciples, invite people on this journey that you're going on. Invite people along on the trip. And we do this all the time, right? Like, you guys have stuff that you love. What are some of your favorite Netflix shows? The Flash. Reading Rainbow? What? No, that's it. Shit. Ava. The Office. Yes. What? Stranger Things? That's not what I thought you said for a second. Cam. What was that? Stranger Things? Stranger Things. The Fosters? I never watched that. Paul. Every documentary. Ancient Aliens, Unsealed, Alien Files, those are my shows. Newsies? I never watched Newsies. Ava. All Broadway musicals. Yes. All right, River. Supernatural. It's like on 25th season. That and Grey's Anatomy. It just will not stop. Like, now, if I came to you and I said, hey, I'm in a show hole, you would immediately go, have you watched Stranger Things? And I would say, like if it was real life, I would say yes, because of course I have watched Stranger Things. I just binge watch TV all the time. But for the purpose, I would say no. And you'd be like, all right, this is what happens. It's in Indiana, and there's this girl, she's got mind powers, and she bleeds, and she loves waffles, and there's this cop, and he's really cool, and, and then there's, like, this nerdy kid, and he's so sweet, he's got, like, baby teeth, and and you would just go, because you're excited about it. You're like, I love Stranger Things. Or you'd be like, oh, dude, do you like superhero shows? Because The Flash is so good. But in order to watch The Flash, you have to believe the impossible. And you would be like, this is, you would get excited about it. Now, favorite artist. Who's your favorite musical artist? Toto. You bless the rains down in Africa. What? Dan Brown? Kane Brown. Okay, Kane Brown. River. Bon Jovi. City of Ovens? Selena Gomez. What? 21 Pilots. Jillian Joyce? Jillian Jordan? No. She good? No. Billy Joel. It is a nice day for a white wedding. So you would go, like you're excited, like that stuff that gets you excited. When we're in the car, you're like, oh, we need to listen to Billy Joel. And and you would be like all about it. And you get excited. No, that's him, right?
No, that's Billy Idol.
Oh, but Piano Man, right? There you go. They both start with Billy. So, A for effort, C for accuracy. Because they both start with C. So, you get excited about these things. Now, here's the deal. We are excited about those things, and we want to share them with our friends. When you get a cool new app, when you get a cool new game, when you get a new songs, when you're watching a movie you love, you want to share it because you're excited about it. This is something that's impacted you, that's powerful, that you think is good, that other people should engage with. The same thing is true of our faith. That we need to be excited about it, to be ready to share it, to have an answer for the hope and the joy that's inside of us. But here's the thing, we can only impact those we have a relationship with. You may have noticed this, that you've gone on your Instagram story and you've said, everybody watch Stranger Things. And then you go to school and you're like, everybody, did you watch Stranger Things? And they're like, sit down. You're like, everybody, Wolves by Selena Gomez is so good. Listen to it right now. They're like, we like country music. But if you're inside small group and you're hanging out afterwards, waiting for mom and pop, and somebody says, hey, what should I watch? And guess what? They're going to come back next week. Guess what I watched? It's so good. She had spoilers? Because you have a relationship, and I'm going to do that because I have a relationship with you. I had a buddy who, every time I would see this promo for a show, I was like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. And then we're making a Sheets run. He's like, dude, if you watch a show, it's the best thing in the world. I said, I think you got best and dumbest confused. He's like, no, you need to watch it. I'm like, all right, I trust you. You're a Christian. I believe in you. You're not going to steer me wrong. Best show in the world. I was like, immediately, after the first episode, I'm like, I'm buying all these seasons. It is so good. But I would never have done that if not for a relationship with him. We need to have relationships with people as we share Jesus with them. That getting on the bullhorn at school and just be like, you all need to follow Jesus. And also quit stinking up the boys' room. Like, it's not going to do anything. But having a relationship with somebody, going to your best friend and say, hey, guess what I'm doing tonight? I'm going to 3D. It helps create an impact because we have a relationship with them. And it also only impacts people if you're excited about it. Nobody has wanted to go to something that you have said, my mom's making me go. Oh, I can't wait. Hey, I'm going to my sister's third grade play. Do you want to go? Mom's making me. Oh, I can't wait. That sounds fantastic. I would love to spend 6 hours there. So as Jesus is saying, go and make disciples, he's not saying storm around town. He's saying develop relationships, impact it, get excited about what's going on in your life. Go and be excited about me with people you know. As you're following Jesus, are you excited about what's going on? Are you excited about the cool things that are happening, about the life change potential? Do you have that hope? Do you have that joy that's going on? He says this, because here's the deal. This is scary. If we're going to leave here and engage our friends and say, hey, you know what? I had a ton of fun last night at church. There's a potential for real kickback. To be called the church kid, to be made fun of, to be the pastor of your team, to get mocked. And there's a real fear. Am I going to lose my friends because I'm taking a stand for Jesus? And Jesus follows it up and he says this in Matthew 28:20. And be sure of this, I am with you always, even until the end of the age. Jesus is with you. Jesus is here to help you. Jesus is here to guide you. That we can know that as we're taking steps out for him, that we're not alone. Even though it can feel that way. I know for a lot of us, we go to a school where nobody else attends from Parker Hill. We may not even know if anybody else attends church in our school. And there's a real fear of, I might be the only one. I want to let you know, as you're taking those steps out, that you're not alone. Jesus is with you. We're with you. We're going to go in a couple minutes and do a small group room of people who are with you, people who are for you, and people who want to help you. So that Thursday and Friday aren't so tough. So as you go and are excited about Jesus with people that you know, you need to never forget, Jesus is saying, I got you. Jesus is saying, I got you. I'm here. There is a plan. It is bigger than you. Because this is the really cool thing about, because remember at the beginning, he's given all authority in heaven and earth. All authority. It's not like he's like, hey, I've been given all authority over NEPA. I've been given all authority over North America, all authority of heaven and earth. That means God is working on a cosmic scale. And his plans stretch outside of time and space and involve you. So as you're moving through high school, God is saying, all right, go, yes, yep, there it is. That's what I want you to do. Yes. And he's working, and then all of a sudden over here, there's this piece. He's like, all right, we're moving it. These two pieces collide, and you're like 26. You're like, holy cow, I had no idea. Because God is moving pieces, and he is there with you. So Jesus is there. He's telling his disciples, go and make disciples of all nations. I will be with you. And then he leaves. And there's a crowd there who've just seen their Savior, their leader, go into heaven. What do they do next? In Luke 24, I think there it is. Well, he was a blessing to them. He left them and was taken up to heaven. So they worshiped him and returned to Jerusalem, filled with great joy. Filled with great joy. The first thing they did was get excited about who Jesus is. Jesus had returned from the dead, and that means every promise he's made, everything he has said is true and reliable because he rose from the grave. He has defeated death. Andy Stanley says it this way: if there's a guy who can predict his own death, burial, and resurrection, and then pull it off, I'm going to go with what he says. And I think that's pretty smart. Jesus, because he did what he said he was going to do and he rose from the dead, everything he has said about you and about me and about the future is trustworthy. And that should get you excited to know that Jesus is with me and has a plan for me, and I am his workmanship that he has prepared to do good works. Their response from the inside out started by simply admiring God for his goodness. Simply admiring God for his goodness. Sometimes that can be a hard thing to remember to do, to sit back and say, man, I have a Savior who loved me so much that in my sin, in my mess up, in my mistakes, he came to this earth, lived a full life, was buried, died, rose again, was died, buried, rose again, so that I could spend eternity with him. Simply amazing. The next thing they did was return home filled with great joy. See, joy points people to Jesus. Joy points people to Jesus. Because when you're happy, even when things are tough, people go, what? Because nobody ever said, oh, they must be a Christ follower if they look like this. You don't come up to me and be like, do you have the love of Jesus in your heart? No. Your face looks like you just got hit with a softball. See, whatever you and I are excited about, it'll affect the people around us. Whatever you and I are excited about, it affects the people around us. My wife is now a superhero nerd because I'm excited about it. My wife likes the Detroit Lions and knows who the quarterbacks are and the running backs and the wide receivers because I yell those names on Sunday afternoons. I'm excited about it. And the people around you know what you're excited about because you care about it. So you may be asking, what if I don't feel that joy about Jesus? What if I don't feel joy when it comes to my relationship with Jesus? I have 3 things that I think could help you out, and then we'll wrap it up. 3 things I want you to try, I want you to work at that could help bring that joy back. The first thing is find something God put in nature that simply amazes you. Find something that God put in nature that simply amazes you. Going out and seeing plants and animals and the ecosystem and the sun and how the light works and how it's all put together in this beautiful, beautiful way. Find something in nature that simply amazes you. Or next, find something God put in people that inspires you. What's something that God put in people that inspires you? Those stories of heroics, of people being self-sacrificing, stepping out, and doing things that God put inside them. Or finally, find a new way to connect with God. Find a new way. Maybe you've been doing the same devotion for a long time. You've been doing the same Bible reading for a long time. Maybe it's time to mix it up. Maybe try singing some songs. Maybe it's time to start serving. Maybe it's time to up your serving. Maybe you come serve, like once a quarter. And now you're going to start serving once a week, and you're going to start building a relationship with those little kids. And when those little kids say those Bible verses, it's because you taught them those Bible verses. And when they know those songs, it's because you taught them the songs. And when they bring friends to Parker Hill, it's because they knew this was a fun place because you made it fun. Find a new way to connect with God. See, our joy points people to Jesus. So if we want to have joy on the outside, we need to experience it first on the inside. We're going to head to small group time and talk about this, wrestle with it to the ground.